Hello everybody, my name is Dratnos, and welcome to my Great Vault video. It's another week, another exciting week here. And we're going to start off with my monk, which is 716 now. Probably can't get to 720 for the Gilded achievement this week, that's probably a next week thing. But we did actually fully re-clear last week, which is rare for us. I think it's the first time we've ever re-cleared the week after we killed the boss. Usually we take a week or two off or, just do like the easy bosses, but this time around, Devencius was like, they nerfed it so much that we thought we could very painlessly re-clear it, and we could. So we did. And yeah, here's my monk. I would like to get Mythic Boots from Soul Hunters, Mythic Dimensius Trinket, just because it represents a big item level upgrade. A Mythic Belt even would be a fine character sheet eye level upgrade, so all of that sounds good. Yeah, Brewmaster loot spec's fine. I already have the tank trinket I want, but I don't want to add the non-tank trinkets to the pool. Okay, so we have boots, but they're not the correct boots. These aren't the Reshiram boots. Even though the Reshiram proc is a little bit less enticing for tanks than it is for non-tanks, it's still good enough that I don't really want to take a non-boot option or a boot option that's not that if I can avoid it. There's also the leg wraps of Fallen Storms. I do currently have crafted in my pants. But I don't really want to have... I want to have an off piece eventually here. I don't really want to have tier eventually here. And then there's a Myth Track 717 ring here. Now, the stats on this thing aren't incredible, but it is going to give me eye level. And I think that's going to be more enticing. I do already have another Myth Track ring as well. So, I guess it doesn't give me free upgrades, but it does mean that another ring, if I got one, would give me free upgrades. Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to be better than taking these Dune Runners, because if I take these Dune Runners, I'm eventually going to want to get the Interloper's Boots, right? And those Interloper's Boots, by definition, they either drop from the boss at 714, or they'll come out of my vault at 717. So I'm not going to be getting crests out of this, whereas I am going to be getting crests by picking this. Then there's also a one-hander in the M+ row there, or the hard mode Tazavesh row, as it may be on this character. But yeah, all right, we'll go with the ring. I need the eye level. I need the character sheet eye level, so I'm not gonna pass on this ring, even though I'm not necessarily sure I'm even gonna equip it, because, well, I guess it's probably better than the Radiant Necromancer's ring. So yeah, even though it's got a little bit of haste on it. Got a lot of eye level as well. I don't know. I'll think about it. It's probably close. I'll see what does more damage. I don't think I need more defense on this character anyway, so can run a quick sim. But yeah, okay. There's first vault. All right, up next, it's my DK. This character did a 2 of 8 mythic, which is going to be a common theme for characters this week. And it also did a key. So I'm going to have 2 options here. Yeah, loot spec Unholy is fine because the tank trinket is not in my vault on this character yet. Okay, we've got the Maniforged Displacement Chassis. The downside of taking this item is that it does come off the first boss, and plate is not a particularly contested armor type this season, so it's actually a fairly easy item to get. But I do already have Myth Track pants, so the only thing that I could take instead of this would be a socket. And even though this thing is pretty easy to pick up, it's not easy enough to pick up that I'm going to take it, or I'm going to take a socket over it at this point. So yeah, we'll grab this and see if I have a Catalyst Charge. I'm not sure if I do or not, but if I do, then I can chuck it in the Catalyzer right now. If not, then I can just upgrade this for free as a result. So I do have 2 Catalyst Charges. Yeah, let's just do that right now. Yeah, on all my characters, I'm trying to save Gilded Crests, basically, at this point, except for my monk. So put this on, get a Crystalline Radiance. And let's see what the Gilded situation is on these characters, because this character did spend some in the early weeks, but I don't think I should have for the last, 2 weeks, so... Yeah, I have 157 Gilded by the time my monk... So if my monk hits next week, I can spend... Yeah, this character will basically also instantly teleport to 720 if I have sufficient Myth Track targets to dump some stuff into. I'm also gonna have another Spark by then, I guess the Spark is coming out this week, so yeah, gonna be pretty powerful. All right, here's my Demon Hunter. Similar situation, did a 2 of 8, and also did a key. Now, this character did a 2 of 8, but has killed up through Forge Weaver in the past. So what I'm hoping to test is whether the item level upgrade is permanent or needs to be re-unlocked each week, because it was a little ambiguous in the blue post exactly how this thing works. There are some items we could find in the vault that wouldn't prove anything, but if a item from the first two bosses, or from the first boss, shows up and is upgraded to 713 or 714 instead of 710, then that will be somewhat conclusive here. Oh, okay, so yeah, 710 item in the vault, 710 gloves, not upgraded, means that even though this character has killed, yeah, you actually, in order to get the upgrade, you need to kill the boss that week, right? This character has killed a 714 boss, but we only have the 710. Like, I've killed 714 boss, but we got the gloves, which tier gloves come off of Soulbinder and are 710 by base. So, yeah, one thing that I still don't know is if... So, obviously, Forge Weaver loot is still in this character's vault, right? If this had shown up, if Forge Weaver loot had shown up, would that have been downgraded to 710? I don't think it would. With historical precedent, at least, this would still be higher eye level, but any of the early boss loot only gets upgraded if you actually kill the boss that upgrades the vault. So that is good to know. Yeah, there are tier gloves, despite the fact that they are not the highest eye level. They're still going to be the pick here. That's still going to be better than pretty much anything else, I suspect, because, you know, myth track tier. That's the sort of thing we're interested in, so grab that, throw that on. Small upgrade for now, but another target for a bunch of Gilded Crests once I unlock the ability to spend my Gilded again on this character. All right, here's my warrior. This character has procced a decent amount of passion. I actually did 4 keys on it instead of just the one on a lot of my other characters, and it also did a 2 of 8. Because there's a good chance that if I push title again this season, it'll be on this character tanking, potentially, so it'd be this or maybe the Paladin, but I'm kind of hoping it's Prot Warrior. I feel more comfortable on Prot Warrior than Prot Paladin, although in keys, I could definitely play either, but yeah, Prot Warrior is fun. It's a fun spec. So I think I'm going to swap the loot spec back over to Prot, because I would like if I can get a one-hander or a shield with a Turt, something like that, that could be pretty exciting, so let's go for that instead of trying to spike a 2-hander to play some Fury with. I'm sure I can pick up one of those eventually. All right, so I also did some heroic, so we're not gonna really consider these spots. We have a crit haste bracers, pretty good stats, although it's likely to be a slot I'm eventually going to want crafted into. We have a belt, good stats, and this is a slot that I'm eventually also maybe going to want to craft into. Yeah, I don't know what my crafts are going to look like on this character long term. I suspect Turbo Biss in the Turbo Boost is going to be bracers and belt crafted if I can get my hands on good shields and one-handers. And then we do have a haste mastery ring as well. The Whispers of Koresh here. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so not the easiest vault. Nothing that, like, jumps out of this vault at me. There's a belt that's not going to be an upgrade until Turbo Boost hits. There's bracers, which are going to be an upgrade right away, but is a slot that's even more, you know, begging to be crafted into. And there's a ring, which is decent stats, but it's not incredible by any stretch. Yeah, what do I have in my bags? I gotta make sure I don't have any hidden myth track hanging out in here that's gonna make any of this a bad decision. It doesn't look like it. Okay, I think I'm coming around on the bracers. I mean, yeah. Look, this is a big eye level jump, and this one is 710. These other ones are 707. I don't know. I guess, okay, here's a problem, though. These are good stat bracers, but it's a raid item. When am I going to find good stat plate belt, right? Like a crit haste belt, if I want one? I kind of only can get out of the vault, I think, because I believe the raid plate belts are not statted in that way. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, I got crit verse off Dimensius, although when is this character going to kill Dimensius? It's a good question. Good question, viewer. Okay, I'm kind of coming around to maybe just slam the crit haste belt while I can. Yeah, let's just get a belt, and then we have an alternative belt. Look, because this item comes from an early boss, right? Like, plate bracers are not going to be hard to pick up by any stretch on this character. There was a character, like my character that I took my DK, where I took the chest piece, right? The argument there was like, okay, this might not be hard to pick up, but a socket is also not going to be hard to pick up. This time around, it's like, okay, plate bracers maybe look slightly better, but they're going to be easy to pick up, and a well-statted belt, it's kind of now or never, right? I might never see again a good statted belt out of the vault, so that's the thought process there. Let's move on to the next character. All right, here's my Paladin, my first ever character to fail a Tazavesh. It wasn't my fault, but did fail a Tazavesh on this character last week, so sad times for the free myth track piece, but did do a 2 of 8, and also did a key, so I guess a Tazavesh as well, so that gives me 2 good options in the vault. We'll go with Spec Prot, because I would also like a myth track shield or one-hander on this character, even though the tank trinkets would not be exciting. Ooh, Astral Antenna. That is a good trinket. It's not a tank trinket, but it is a good trinket. And then there's also the Quantum Leapers, but I already have good statted pants. I guess this is a good opportunity to just pick up an antenna. This trinket is... It's situational for tanks to use a trinket like this over the pure defensive setup of the Dimensius trinket and the Soul Hunters trinket is a very strong setup that you can just kind of use for... If you just put those on as a tank for all content this season, I think you'd probably do a lot better than most people who are swapping around different stuff for different content. But the antenna is well statted. It gives a lot of stat, and it's pretty easy as a tank to actually pick up this all this stuff as well. So we'll put it on over this Delve trinket, the Symbiotic Ether Gauze. Although this thing actually did here I think this is the entire Tazavesh maybe, or this is just Solia. But look, it did a lot of damage on Solia. Let's see, is there? Can I look at some like trash and stuff? Yeah. So on Hillbrand it didn't do too much damage, but it did some good damage. I guess it didn't do that much damage overall. Yeah, all right. I don't mind taking that thing off then. Yeah, good trinket. All right, here's my Druid, the lowest item level of my tanks, sitting at 698, 697 equipped. But I have a lot of crests in the tank on this character. 280 gilded, 400 runes, just waiting for the, when they uncap it and I can trade up without worrying about then eventually going over cap on gilded, which I probably never will anyways in this character. The gilded cap is pretty fake for this character. I did a key. This is the only character I didn't do a 2 of 8 on. I did do a full heroic clear though. But yeah, really hoping to spike something good in the 2 of 8 row. A Harvester's Edict, would that be too much to ask for? Ooh, a Ceaseless Swarm Guard. I believe this trinket is not very good. Ooh, there's the Dimensius Cheat Death trinket. Now, normally I would never really consider a hero track trinket out of the vault, but I don't know if I'll ever kill Heroic Dimensius on this character again. I probably won't. When will I actually kill Mythic Dimensius on this character? I probably won't. I probably won't, at least for a long time. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I should just take this thing. On the other hand, maybe I should just take this thing, and then it gives me a higher eye level jump. Nah, I should just take the All-Devouring Nucleus. Like, this is a powerful effect. If I ever actually want to use this character, like if I want to kill Mythic Dimensius on this character, having this cheat death trinket on a spec like Guardian Druid is going to be really valuable for actually making that happen. Like, going into reclear and not randomly dying on this character, I'm in charge, so I could just say whatever you guys got to carry my stupid Druid. But if I want to not get carried and make sure that my tank never dies, having this cheat death trinket, I think, is gonna make that a lot easier. Which eventually I would like to sneak this thing into raid and at least unlock all the bosses for the turbo boost and stuff. So I think this is going to be one of the rare cases of taking a hero track trinket, because I just don't think I'm interested in a Ceaseless Swarm Guard. That trinket is not particularly good. It's one of the many dungeon tank trinket. Basically, if there's a tank trinket this season, if it comes from the raid, it's good. If it comes from dungeons, it's bad. All-Devouring Nucleus is a raid trinket, so it is good. Even though the other one would have been a slightly higher eye level jump, who cares? I wouldn't have wanted to spend gildeds on trinkets until I get 2 good trinkets anyways, by which point I would have places to spend the gilded anyways, so I don't think it would have helped to take a bad eye level trinket. I think a socket, it was probably between this and a socket, to be honest, but I've already taken one socket on this character, so my need for sockets is pretty low on this guy. I only need to pick up 2 more over the course of this patch. Anyways, that's it for the vault this week. Hope your vaults have been good as well. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.